October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I was unfortunately in a 24-year narcissistic abuse situation. So I thought I would bring a little bit of a story time to you guys, maybe a couple, to bring awareness to those who have never had to endure it, and to let those that are in it or have been in it know you're not alone. So one of the stories was, let's see, I had 3 kids at home. My oldest was out of the home at that point. So we will say my oldest at that point in the home was maybe around 12. And then I had 2 younger ones, maybe, let's say the youngest was 6, and then we had my daughter who was 8. So way too young to be alone. And it was around 11 o'clock. Me and my ex lived in the same town. We were divorced at this point. And he had the kids that night. It was a school night. And my oldest at home was actually with me that night. And so I got a text saying, oh no, I didn't. My son did, who was sleeping. It was a school night. It was like 11 o'clock. And he got a text from my ex stating that he needed him to walk over to his house, which was across town. It was 11 p.m. He needed him to walk over because he needed him to stay with the kids while he went to work. Well, no, what he was really doing was he was dating a girl and he suspected her of cheating, so he wanted to go check up on her. We found this out after. And of course, my son got up and he's getting ready to leave and telling me what's happening. And I'm like, absolutely not. You're not doing this. First of all, it's not your responsibility. Second of all, you have school and that's where you need to focus. I would drive him like, so I get a hold of my ex and I said, that's not appropriate, but I would be more than happy to, bring the kids to me, even though it stinks to have to wake them up on a school night. But nevertheless, bring them home and I'll take the kids. And he didn't want that. He did not want that. His only answer that he wanted, and it's all about control, was that he wanted my son to walk over there. And, I had to learn eventually that you have to pick your battles. And this was a battle I had to choose because it was just not okay. None of it was okay. So again, I kept offering, I will watch the kids. You'll have to bring them home though, or I can come pick them up. But I don't want my son walking in the middle of the night on a school night and all of the things. Well, again, it wasn't what he wanted. So there was no compromise with him. It was all or nothing, his way or no way. And I had to pick that battle. I had to. It was, as a mom, the absolute right thing to do. And I was compromising, even though I thought it was ridiculous. I was compromising and letting him know, I will help. But anyway, so you get the gist. Well, because I didn't allow my son to walk over there or go over there and watch the kids, his last and final words were to me, I'm going to make your life a living hell. And I knew when I saw those words he wasn't joking. And from that point forward, things got really bad. That next week, he went and filed custody. He went to court and tried to file a harassment order. He went to the school, told them a whole bunch of stuff about me, lies, of course, involved the school, which was so inappropriate. And he tried to take my phone away because at this point our phones were still intertwined, and he started with his countdown. When he would be mad, he would do this countdown where he'd text back from 10, and then the next text would be 9, until my phone would be shut off. And finally, I decided one day, I was at a friend's house, just a little side note, a side story, this phone thing, he kept doing this texting back and shutting my phone off whenever he would be mad. So they finally said, you need to go get your own line. This is ridiculous. And so I did. Of course, I didn't tell him why I didn't need to. But I did tell him once I had my phone that I had a new phone, he could have my other phone back or whatever, shut off that line. And he was so infuriated about this that he started saying he was calling the police because now I was holding a stolen phone. It was just insanity. Just insanity. Another time, just another little story, he went to it was his night to go out to dinner with the kids. It was like, he didn't have them for overnight, it was just like a dinner thing during the school week. And he went to their after school care to pick them up, and he only had a truck, so he didn't have enough room for the 3 kids and 2 car seats. So he decided that he was going to bring the kids one by one to my house and then have dinner at my house. Well, I wasn't comfortable with him. Of course, the kids could come home, but I wasn't comfortable with him having his dinner time at my house. And so I told them, you know what? I'll take the kids tonight, but I'll even go get the other kids. But for tonight, let's just switch nights, basically. Why don't you get a more appropriate car for tomorrow? And because he had like work cars and stuff, and we can just switch up, because tomorrow night's my night, we'll just flip-flop. Nope, he had it in his mind what he was doing, and he was not okay with me saying no. So next thing you know, I have the police department calling me, and he's told them that I'm refusing visitation, and which was very odd because they don't typically get involved with that stuff. Typically they'll just say, this is a civil situation, you have to go to court. But the cop was really being hard on me. I don't know what he told them, of course, completely, but he was really, really getting on me. And I'm like, listen, I said he could take them tomorrow during my night. I'm trying to compromise, but it wasn't safe what he was doing with the transportation. So once the police officer found out I was actually being cool and I was compromising, he kind of like let it go. Next thing you know, he filed in the courthouse, he filed contempt that I wasn't allowing him to see the kids for that one situation. And he did see them the next night. So yeah, that was situation. I mean, that was just another situation, but it was just never ending. It never ending. And this went on for my whole life, up until my son just turned 18 last November, and it's almost been a full year, but there's still moments. The other night, for example, my son was in the shower and he wasn't answering the phone, and I got a few texts, but I didn't see them because I was out with my dog. Not that I have to answer anyway. And I got that as we didn't answer, he started getting more heated. So the phone started ringing, and you could see when I looked back, there was like missed call after missed call after missed call. And then finally I started getting the threats. If you don't pick up, if somebody doesn't pick up, I'm driving over there. Now it's like 9 o'clock at night, and what are you going to do when you come to my house anyway? Like, what are you going to do? What is that threat? You're going to come over. So eventually I did, when I got in the house, I saw all this insanity and I called him, but he has me blocked. So I couldn't call him, and he eventually called me again, and I answered. And I'm like, first of all, we weren't available to answer the phone. Secondly, don't threaten us. And thirdly, what are you doing? This is crazy. And we don't have to answer if we don't want to. And I said, and you have me blocked, so I don't know what you expect me to do with that. And he's like, I don't have you blocked. And I'm like, you do. And I'm like, because I tried to call you and it went right to voicemail, just like when I'm blocked, and text messages don't go through. So he didn't like that very much, and he just hung up on me. So anyway, this has already been almost 10 minutes. But these are just some examples of what it's like living in a narcissistic abusive situation, which is a great awareness for Domestic Violence Month, which is October. My prayers go out to all who have endured or are enduring. Much love.